Previously on the Quarantine Chronicles.
You have committed a crime within the limits of Hayden, and as such, you are subject to the sentencing of our leader, Lord Ramos. Well, hello there, and thanks again for joining us for another episode of the Quarantine Chronicles. I'm your narrator, John Grayson, and this is Chapter 5, written by Morgan Jones. The walk up to the Citadel was long. I was hoping that maybe I would be escorted in some sort of vehicle, but I guess that was too much to ask for a city that was the literal underbelly of the galaxy. Instead, I was marched through the city on foot, surrounded by guards. The denizens we passed quickly scurried out of the way of the guards. Above me, I thought I saw some motion on the rooftops. A blur of gray and white hopping effortlessly from roof to roof. But I couldn't be sure. Eventually, after what felt like forever, we made it to the central citadel. We approached a large gated door, more ornate than anything else in the city, that was flanked by two guards in identical uniforms as the ones that surrounded me. They nodded at each other and opened the door, and I was forcefully escorted inside. This all seemed a little extreme for an alleged thief. The guards opted to herd me into an elevator. At least I wouldn't have to walk up all the stairs to the top of the Citadel. Gotta count the small victories. When we reached our destination, it was only a few turns down cavernous, stony hallways before I was led into the throne room. It was grand, at least 3 floors tall, held up by intricately carved stalactite formations that, probably after many centuries, finally reached the ground. At the far end of the room sat who I could only assume was Lord Ramos. His throne was made out of similarly intricately carved stalagmite covered in glimmering paints. He wasn't as grand as his throne, as he was old and bug-like in appearance, almost like an herbivorous relative of whatever species Lumina was. "Lord Ramos," I began. "Silence!" His voice was much grander than I expected from his appearance. "What is he here for?" One of the guards stepped forward. "Thievery, my lord. In the marketplace." "Thievery?" He pondered at the word, leaning back into his throne. "A petty crime, but a serious one nonetheless, especially in a public place. Do you know the punishment for thieves here?" "Do I even get a say here?" I asked. What kind of plan did Lumina have that involved getting me arrested? Or worse, killed? "I said, do you know the punishment for thieves?" I sighed. "No, my lord. It is severe, like many of the punishments here topsided. You will..." "Hey, uncle. How does this look?" I turned faster than the speed of light, and there was Lumina, standing in the doorway of the throne room, with the crown of the Illuminaries planted on her head. It fit perfectly. Lumina. Lord Ramos's voice dripped with annoyance. "Be honest, I think it fits pretty well." She curtsied dramatically, cracking a sarcastic smile. "What are you doing here?" I asked. She winked and walked past me towards Lord Ramos. No guard made a move to stop her. "I thought we agreed that I would give you asylum here on the condition that you would remain hidden." Lord Ramos's voice didn't just drip annoyance, it was absolutely saturated in it. "I mean, you did, but that was before this happened." She pointed to her crown. "This young man here was nice enough to deliver it to me." She turned to me and smiled. "Thanks, by the way." I looked between her and Ramos. "How did you know that I had it?" Lumina rolled her eyes. "You really think I didn't have an idea of where it was? Sure, I couldn't go get it, but I had friends who could get it." She looked at me apologetically. "Commander Harris was a good man. I'm just sorry I couldn't get a clear shot of that shrieker in time." That information hit me like a ton of bricks. Harris was working with Lumina this entire time? And I guess I've just replaced him in your plan. Yep. Lord Rama sighed, a loud, attention-grabbing sigh. What does this have to do with anything, Lumina? She reached into my pocket and pulled out a piece of paper she left there. The message. Unfolding it, she held it up for everyone to see. On it was an advertisement for the annual Shrieker Games, undoubtedly the largest event that the planet hosts. During this week-long tournament, the galaxy's richest socialites drink till they drop and bet on captured Shriekers that fight to the death. Among these well-to-do members of the upper crust would surely be General Makora, the notorious destroyer of worlds. Makora and his ruthless military generals have led the war against the Illuminaries for decades. Claiming he offered protection from the savage Illuminaries, many in the galaxy hail him as a hero. However, it doesn't undo the thousands of Illuminary lives he reaped to gain said protection. On the poster Lumina held, it read, "Televised across the galaxy." Without missing a beat, Lumina tossed me a medical kit. "For your friend. You don't have to come if you don't want to." I had come this far. I had to see this through. Taking a deep breath, I said, "Fine, I'll help. What's your plan?" Lumina could barely hold back her excitement. "We are going to crash a party." And that is Chapter 5. Thanks again for joining us, and join us next week to see the finale of the Quarantine Chronicles. I'm John Grayson, your narrator, and I'll see you next time.